Michael Farry was born in Colaney, County Sligo in 1947. He attended Rockfield National School and St. Nathan's College, Ballydream. He trained as a primary teacher in St. Patrick's Training College, Drumcondra, Dublin. He's been writing poetry since 2004 and has been published in a number of small magazines and has been commended and shortlisted in a number of poetry competitions. He's a founding member of Vine Writers Group. Michael Farry.
Thank you very much. Great to be here in Limerick. Thank you, Dominic, for the invitation. Follow that. All right. I'm going to read a few poems. So I'm going to start with important things, like the truth. The truth. I told my children lies every morning, every nightfall. He exists. All will be well. She'll recover. He's gone to a better place. Later lies soothed their disappointments. She didn't mean it. It was an accident. You'll forget him. I'm sorry. Yesterday, my daughter told me how good a father I had been, and that I was as sharp as ever, years ahead of me. I raised her well, taught her everything she knows. When I was young in Colaney, County Sligo, I collected stamps. And one of the sources of stamps was the envelopes from emigrants who were in Australia, United States, and England. So this poem is called Stamp Collecting. I ripped them from the right-hand corners of envelopes from England, America, Australia, before their desperate letters sweet-talked separation. I soaked them off, mounted them in empty spaces. From Woolworth packets, I sorted country from country, laid them in ascending value, chronological order, and I swapped, sent her choice offerings, received sealed packets, messages from exotic, unseen places, combined her gifts with mine. But when our trading circle fractured, I lost interest, took up coin collecting, loved the real and hard and solid feel. I never once regretted this, but never dumped the stamps, and still can tell you where exactly they loiter in my attic, stuck forever to faded leaves, like lovers' holiday snaps, from states which no longer exist: Czechoslovakia, Rhodesia, Yugoslavia, Tanganyika. And as well as collecting stamps, I was interested in sport and tried my hand at many, many sports, most of them very unsuccessfully. So I did get a little bit of success at race walking, which is that, you know. So this poem concerns that. It's called My Sporting Life. I had ambitions once: goalkeeping. Bought the gear, gloves, pads. Spent hours learning moves, aping dives. Between the posts, a haven I could prowl, a command post, conductor's podium, the last line. It didn't turn out like that. Behind my back, I felt the goal conspire like an unlocked door, a mountain gap that winter storms rampaged through. I dreaded turning round. My display in Castleconnor finished me. I knew they'd blame me, absolved the backs who played like Sunday strangers, then mocked my sprawling efforts. I shouted, I've read the manual, know the drills by heart, my gear's the best, I have the posters. Allow me one more. Stop. Useless. So I dumped the gloves, forgot the routines. Race walking was different. Though it invited scorn, those side-to-side hip movements, I didn't care, answerable to none but myself. Once in the Phoenix Park, lapped by leaders, a man out walking with his son took my photograph. I finished well down the field, a personal best. Okay, a lot of these are about Youth. So here's another one. I haven't really done much acting in one sense of the word, even though I did make an appearance on the stage in one of those fit-up companies that visited our little village. They wanted servers to act in a play, so I was chosen. In another sense, I've been acting all my life, I suppose. So this poem is called My Acting Debut. My acting debut was as an extra, an altar boy bearing a candle in the last act of the Nun's Story in the Henry Hall sometime in the late 50s. Backstage, I watched the star stub out her cigarette before her onstage final ecstasy, angelic, pure, then kiss the actor priest after the curtain call. Since then, I've never stopped. Big parts, bearing candles, straight-faced, walking to their rhythm, following their script. I can carry a candle now like an expert, trimmed and burning, angle it, letting grease spill slowly down along the length, solidify before it reaches my blistered fingers. And talking about acting, one of my favourite films is High Noon. There are some people here who were probably of an age that they saw it the first time around, but it's been around plenty of times since. That's the one with Gary Cooper playing Will Kane. And Grace Kelly has an important part in it as well, and it's set in a town called Hadleyville. High Noon. There was this film I saw once in boarding school, the year of the Cuban Missile Crisis. I haven't stopped watching it since, the last time yesterday, just before the postman brought the invitation. They don't do telegrams anymore. I could pay Will Kane at the drop of his gun. I perfected his expressions, especially that disenchanted look. I practiced that world-weary stride every day. I'm from the West too. Hadleyville looks a lot like Kulani, though our railway station had no water tower, and I never saw anyone waiting for the noon train from Tubbercurry drink from a whiskey bottle. The saloon customers reminded me of the men who mustered smoking at the church gate after second mass. I always stared straight ahead as I passed them, especially after serving, afraid they might be criticising the way I carried the cruets or my pronunciation of the Latin. My father took part in it, different roles over the years. He was a great man for roles, played the whole cast in his lifetime: outlaw, loner, lawman, sidekick. But I could never decide what role my mother was playing. The white lady in the wedding outfit, or the dark one, getting out just before the showdown. There's not many poems about fish and chips, but here's one. I was in Liverpool looking for the wonderful English fish and chips, and I looked down at the plate and thought, well, the fish doesn't really look like fish, and the potatoes certainly don't look like potatoes. Everything is changed and camouflaged. So I wrote a poem. Fish and chips, £6.95. Camouflaged, incognito, plated for innocence, they crack and crisp, gold masked, to hide the bitterness of grim water, sour soil, backbreak of hunter's drudge, gatherer's ache. In Sligo, we looked ours in the eyes. Our frozen fingers slit, set them in spring soil beds, picked and pitted at bitter year end. On weekday summer evenings after school, speared worms on hoops, battered captive heads on stone. At home, slit their bellies, removed the sloppy bits and blobs, fed head to cat, cooped the rest, ate. Okay, this is, I suppose, about my father. People of his generation, and even of my generation, were always careful hoarders of things, nails and timber and all that kind of thing, and it took me a long time to get over that. Celtic tiger, I suppose. So this is called Easter Cleaning. especially when cleaning out my shed and dumping my sad stockpile stores, I remember your neat abandoned hoards, timbers, nails, tools, assortments of essentials, decomposing. It has taken me a lifetime to discard accumulations cached for indefinite usefulness. This Easter week, I took a load of timber, rough uprights and drilled cross pieces for recycling. Each plank I flung detached a little of you. My shed is spick and span now, like an empty tomb. Okay, one of the nice things about getting old is that people ask you for directions everywhere, even in Limerick. Because the beard and the age, I suppose, they think you know everything. And you know a lot, really. So I was in Florence, and this couple asked me for directions in Italian, which I don't know, but you do know their place name, so I was able to help. Of course, Florence is a wonderful city with all the poetic associations of Dante and Beatrice and so on. So this poem is called Asking for Directions. Even in Florence, they asked me for directions. To the Ponte Vecchio, as it happened, in Italian. Lacking that language, I pointed the lost lovers south, towards Piazza della Signora, signed right, then left. They arrived still hand in hand, I hope. Beard and age confer understandable authority, but my ease in these back streets is grounded not in familiarity with maps, but in the snug feeling that here I track the firm footprints of kinsmen well known for fidelity to craft, adventure, and devotion. These thin streets lead nowhere else but home. I long to lose this overlay of easy knowledge, be a nameless native on O'Connell Bridge in Piccadilly, and especially on pilgrimage through this infernal paradise of tight streets between the Arno and Duomo, in full retreat to the darkened church of Santa Margherita, where in the family tomb Beatrice has lain for 7 ignorant centuries, though the plain stone is freshly decked with flowers. I crave the luck of knowing nothing worth asking for. And this next poem came from a visit as well. I visited some place and thought, you can't write a poem about this. But on the way home, this poem came. It's called When I Returned. When I returned, I taught my children the correct pronunciation. The slide from the ow to that soft ch, W pronounced as the, and the final ch, difficult for Irish pupils. Then I taught them how to spell it. SCH as in school. W, not V. And that final Z, no silent letters. They practiced it every day, until finally they spoke and wrote it like native speakers. Auschwitz, Auschwitz.